Okay, here's the next one. This is from Andy Pacco. The subject is Kevin Gill.
Oh,
okay.
How'd this get through the filters?
Well, let's see what it's about. Hey guys, we all know how KG left the show, but don't think we ever told how you guys met up with him in the first place. On the same note, how did you guys meet JoJo? It's from Andy. It's a good question. Okay, let's start with how did we meet Kevin Gill to begin with? Because I didn't know the guy.
Well, Kevin Gill, we met him because when I was doing MLW, which you used to be a guest on from time to time, and now that I've gone back, I would like you to come back again. Anyways, so when I left, excuse me,
you want me to come back?
Yeah, as you can't come back as a guest like you used to.
Maybe, I guess so.
All right. So so what happened was I originally, when I left, I was gonna bring Court and MSL, but they didn't want to come. They had their own shit going. So I didn't want to do a show by myself because, bro, I just think a show by yourself, just you talking all the time, it just gets boring. I get tired of hearing myself talk. So I said, I talked to you, Disco, so you would come aboard, which you did. And obviously we needed somebody to produce the show. And we were at WrestleMania, I want to say San Jose maybe. And Kevin Gill was there, and he was all the time kind of like Joe used to do, which is the way I met him, always hitting me up on Twitter. Will you come on my show? Will you come on my show? And I was like, who the fuck is this guy? You know? And will you come on my show? And then I saw him in Lucha Underground, and he was always kind of hanging out there. And when I saw him at what's this place called, WrestleMania, he was interviewing people in his room. And I remember we did an interview with Teddy Hart, which was hilarious because during the interview, he had this girl that was kind of like his valet holding the microphone while he talked, which was funny during the whole interview. So I saw how quick he was producing his show, and I was like, well, I need somebody to produce my show. Do you want to produce the show? And he said, yeah. And so I brought him aboard to produce the show. That's where you met him, right, Disco?
Yeah, on the show. Then I met him in Stockton. It's Stockton Con.
Right. Right. But little did I know that he was as judgmental and as flakish as he is, and that he was going to collapse when I brought the Chris brother on the show, which, you know, to Disco was an ambush. But I know exactly that if I would have brought... if I would have brought that guy on the show, because he's very introverted type of guy. I know him, you don't, Disco. KG would have done to him what he did to Jeff Lane. He would have talked all over him, not let him make his point, and we would have never gotten the whole story out. But he was exposed for the bitch he is. And I'm going to wait a couple months till this other wrestler's done doing a show for him so he can come on the show and tell you what KG did to him, which is very similar to what he did to David Chris. So
I like it.
So no, it's not fake news. It's not fake news. I don't have to invent shit, bro. I don't have to invent shit. And so the bottom line was, you know, he was a guy that was always, you know, defending, you know, black people, like if he was black, and always trying to judge everybody like and I've always said that. So I could see him on his off days on top of his roof or on a soapbox dressed as Wonder Woman waving the LGBTQ flag. Okay? So him and all those fruit roll-up crew that
So they're very slanderous comments, fake news.
None of it is like it's fake news, and he could take his fucking slight Down syndrome look and go fuck himself. So there goes that. And then Joe, basically, he was always trying to get me on his show, Creative Control, and his big pitch to me was like, I had MSL on the show, and I was like, well, that's definitely going to make sure I never go on the show. And so
I almost got blocked.
Yeah, and you almost got blocked. And so then he would throw this litany of guests. It's almost like, you know, I love when wrestlers write to me and they're like, I'm like, who are you? What have you done? Or, you know, and they're like, well, I wrestled this guy and I wrestled this guy and I wrestled that guy. They think that because they wrestled somebody, that makes them good. That doesn't mean shit. That just means you wrestled them. So he would always put, well, I interviewed Vince Russo and I interviewed MSL. I interviewed this guy. And I was thinking to myself, yeah, okay, well, big deal. And so once I saw that KG, basically, he wouldn't even edit the show, bro. That was another thing I was mad about. He would send the show to this guy in New Jersey. Remember that guy, Meltzer? What was his name? Peter Meltzer?
Peter Melnick.
Peter
Melnick. He would send it to a guy in New Jersey 3 hours ahead of time, okay? 3 hours, East Coast time. He would send it to him, and he would send it to some other fucking scofflaw, derelict, walking glory hole in England. I forgot his name. And he would send it to this guy in England, and he would have them edit it, and I'd have to be waiting all the time to see, it would take forever to fucking the show come back, and then he'd be bitching about how long it took to edit, and I'm like, well, you're not editing it, motherfucker, they are. And when I started to chop it up with Joe, I go, bro, would you be interested in producing the show? It's got a lot of moving parts. Oh yeah, I'd like to do it. I think I can do it. And I was like, cool, just start listening to the show, listen to the rhythm of the show, because we have different segments. And I remember the first time Joe did it, he did it real quick. And I was like, this motherfucker's taking like 12 hours, and this other motherfucker's doing it in 2. And obviously, Joe's not the douchebag that KG is, even though I know you like to dick ride him, Disco. And that's how we met. That's how I met Joe. Boom.
Interesting.